Did you now? Not many walked into those witches' den and came out alive. Even fewer made it into my city to tell their stories. Tell me then, what do the Thalmor have to say about me? I see, but tell me, what do you think of such claims? And I appreciate your wisdom. Many are inclined to judge when they see a shadow of what might be the truth. The truth has always been more complicated than that. You made it this far. It's only right that you're rewarded with this knowledge. But it's not a conversation we'll have here. Meet me in my quarters, and I shall tell you my side of the story.
The gall of those elves, to take our soldiers and claim a fort on our land. I will send a small force to aid your rescue. No son of Skyrim's should be held against his will by a foreign invader. Leave no Thalmor alive. Aye, he's my brother, and I don't much take pride from admitting that. But he and I share a father. What can I do but to keep him alive? Ha, no. My stepmother was a woman from Winterhold, married into Clan Stonefist for the prestige, you see. Like mother, like son, I'd say. His mother knew nothing but hate and greed. I could excuse that if she at least knew how to fight like a Nord, but it seemed all she knew was being a lazeabout and yelling to the air. No doubt my brother learned all his habits from that woman. Like, I'd kick that milk drinker back to Winterhold if he didn't have my name. He eats and gambles all day, and he refuses to even join the Stormcloaks. His favorite pastime? Making troubles for his brother. Army life would chew my brother up easily, and I take all the pleasure in seeing that. But of course, Rolf has half the wit to know that. Why don't I tell you a story of my own time in the Great War? 30 years ago, I sold everything I owned to buy what I needed for the war, then donated the rest to the war chest. I fought hard, and the Thalmor struck back even harder, but I persevered, because to falter was to lose my homeland and fail the Emperor. But soon, I found out the Emperor never much cared what we think. When the Thalmor knocked on the Imperial City's gates, the Emperor was swift to make a run and leave all its people to rot. But I did not leave with him. I defied my commander and stayed with my people, those who had no swords or shields. Aye, what use is an army that wouldn't stand for its people? I tried. My next memories were all black and red. But I lived. When I woke up, I had to push aside dozens of corpses just to breathe. Talos only knew how long I've climbed on the corpses until I could gain a view, to realize I was in a mass grave outside the city. Piles of Imperials, Nords, Redguards, even elves discarded to the moat like they were dirt, nameless, forgotten, unsung. And I understood then. The Emperor had murdered them as much as the Thalmor did.
Or I have made it stronger by ridding it of a corrupt regime. The Empire failed against the Dominion even with its resources and numbers. Yet Hammerfell, once free of its imperial shackles, was able to cast those elves away from their deserts. It was no mere luck. The truth is that the Empire, with all its noble houses, hierarchy and bureaucracy, had grown too big and deep to be efficient. The truth is that we can defeat the Thalmor, but we can only do so without the Empire's corrupt ways. Of course, my friend, you've more than proven yourself to me. It's only right that you know your liege better. Yes, I once did. I was father to 3 proud warriors, and the finest maiden in all of Eastmarch. My sons, They're in the halls of Sovngarde now, with their grandfathers, their comrades, and all who gave their lives to our cause. But my daughter Gunhild, she was murdered in cold blood by Imperial assassins. She never deserved her fate. Apparently, a few guards had sold their honor to the Empire and let those assassins in. My daughter and I were dining alone when that happened. Those bastards charged at me, their blades poised at my throat. And Gunhild, my little daughter, she was in the way. And that's the price I must pay for my fatherland, however it may grieve me. Isgramor lost his sons to the elves and the seas, yet he would claim Skyrim for us. When we finally defeat the Empire and the Thalmor, it will be time for me to grieve for my children in peace. She was an honorable woman and a fearsome shield maiden. Back in those days, everyone said she met her lesser half. Indeed, if she had chosen to make her life on the battlefield instead of this palace, she would have been happier. The world may have forgotten her stories, but I won't. Her smiles, her wrath, and when she spent her last to bring our daughter to this world. As you say, it's a good question, and one I'm glad veterans like you are asking. Skyrim was battered by dragons, bandits, and Daedric cults while we had our gaze at the war. Soon enough, the Dominion's gluttonous maw will encroach our lands. And all the while, Imperial opportunists remain eager to continue the bloodshed. We'll need more than courage and the gods' favor. First, we must rebuild our economy. Only with a plentiful vault can we afford more armors. And only with a filled stomach can a soldier fight wars. Second, we'll need reliable allies. The Nords are proud and mighty warriors, but it'll take numbers and resources to end the Aldmeri threat for good. I have my eyes set on Hammerfell. They stopped the Thalmor once, and with a powerful Nord army at their side, we may even march to Alinor's gates. But I've also been informed that it's suffering from numerous local conflicts. Random destructive attacks by the group called the Alikir Warriors. I'll have to study their situation at length. Perhaps we'll help the Alikir to take over, or perhaps the Crowns would make a more stable ally. And then, we'll see how High Rock reacts to our alliance. They may join us as a worthy, willing ally, or we'll free them from the Empire's clutch. My friend, we live in the Fourth Era. Wars are the norm, and the mothers always mourn. But our wars just might change that. With our victory, High Rock has become an exclave to the Empire. Cut off from Cyrodiil, it will soon have to seek better friends. I pray that the Bretons will see reason, but if not, I will not suffer being surrounded by Imperial armies from the west and the south. As you say, I've been eyeing on a worthy successor. Someone who can lead Skyrim to victory, keep our homeland safe from those who'd conquer it. And I think I'm looking at him. You are the Dragonborn. In your veins flows the blood that once fueled Tullius's holy war. Your name alone will be a rallying call to every Nord, and your deeds an inspiration to those who value honor and courage. I cannot think of a more fitting leader for our kingdom. My children, they are all with Shor now. But even if they were still alive, their blood alone wouldn't make them worthy kings or queens. Yours is different, for your blood came from the divines instead of ordinary men. If the Dragonborn and the Stormblade is not worthy, then by what right can anyone take the throne? Of course, there's still much for you to learn in the ways of governing and politics. But you already have a seasoned mentor, have you not?
I've received troubling news from Solitude. It seems the Imperials are inviting Erikur to invest in Cyrodiil. He could pull his funds from Skyrim to give to the enemy.
Erikur is a man of benefits, not of faith. And right now, his benefits lie with us.
I have said this many times. Marry Toryg's widow and smother the embers of conflict.
No, she will grieve for her man in peace, and that is final. How is Thongvor faring on Markarth's throne?
The Reachmen are growing bolder by the day in Markarth. My men are prepared to suppress any revolt.
Good. If Thongvor needs anything, tell me and I will provide. How is Sorley faring on Morthal's throne?
She just sits her arse on the throne, doing nothing.
Just help her rule. Rule for her if need be.
Aye, but I have a feeling we are sinking our resources into the swamps.